fired up.
The snap, the put down, the swing of the leg. It is on its way. It is good! Cincinnati wins the American Championship.
Cincinnati, a 20-point win tonight in Kansas City.
Cincinnati is legit. Welcome to the national scene. Wes Miller and the Cincinnati Bearcats with the win.
And guess what? The Joe Burrow era is just beginning.
Welcome back. It is another week.
Been a while.
It is another week. We're the ones driving the ship this week.
I'm the captain now.
No, you're not.
And there's no 1 hour time limit, so we're all back in our happy place.
Also, we have this.
I kind of miss being on the other show now.
Ed really is the captain. Oh God,
I'm the captain now.
So
I've never seen that movie.
Last week we obviously spent some time with Late Night Reds. Again, thank you for allowing us to invade your airwaves. A little disappointed that it ended 60 minutes in, but because we like to go long.
I thought we were just about to have a great conversation about having a game at the Sandlot field.
I mean, what might have been.
are you already going there, Ed? Are you going to bring out the old angry curmudgeon that is Aaron and his thoughts on specialized fun games and excitement?
We will get to all the games, but I just want to point out that it is August 16th. I have been a dad now officially for 1 month.
Congrats.
And the little one has made it 30 days.
That's good. I'm glad you have an experienced co-parent on your side.
I was gonna say you've got like some help on the other side that's already been through it.
For sure. I got shit on yesterday.
I mean,
congratulations.
Like you going into it, I'm sure have like a lot of the same kind of like feelings that most parents have whenever they go into like this new crazy adventure of like,
dude, I feel like that every morning when I wake up.
They send you home and they're like, good luck, like keep it alive or else you're gonna be in trouble. Like,
I feel like that every morning when I wake up.
I'm not allowed to come home with a new dog without a background check. You need to send me home with this baby.
Yeah, it's wild, but I mean they for the most part, I mean they tend to fly themselves, as they say.
Sometimes they bust their head open, but then they just stitch them back up. It's fine.
They do tend to bleed a lot if something happens, and you'll be like, oh, and then you're like, wait a minute, I'm responsible to take care of this. Hold on,
I gotta take.
But it's fun.
What time is urgent care open?
And then you get to pat yourself on the back as you're like, look what I did.
Fair enough. That was a roller coaster of emotions.
It was.
Everyone on
the first time you put them in an outfit and then the wife actually agrees that the outfit matches and that it's a great outfit, dude. It's like chugging a beer. It's great.
Well, we're not built the same, Edward. I'm just saying.
It's nice when they tell you they did.
I know that the Wrestling Minute usually comes at the end of the show, but like, did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that Ed's back?
I'm back.
Kevin,
and then he got it. Then he got his butt kicked by Drew McIntyre.
What's his name? Kevin something.
Kevin Owens.
There it is.
Owen. There's no S.
Oh, whatever. That guy.
Because Ed's one to correct people on things like that.
It's fair.
Well, I mean, it is Ed's doppelganger. So,
did I ever tell you I bought his wrestling figure just because I knew I'd never have my own action figure? I thought this is as close as I'd ever get.
It's really not fair that you get your you can really like pass it off. I mean, it probably looks more like you than Desmond Ritter in Madden 23. So,
man, what a callback! Well done.
I was telling Jeff that I was at Kings Island today, and one of the characters, I said at that time, one of those stands, they had like an example photo set up, and I was like, "Holy shit, is that Desmond Ritter?" And then I started thinking to myself, "Damn, they did a better job of drawing Desmond Ritter than Madden did." I'll take a picture of some there.
That is just an absolute travesty what they did with it. And I know it happens every year to like, you know, like people be like, what is, like, this isn't me. And now it's one of our guys. And it's like,
Some might say it's the epitome of what not to do when you are making a character on Madden, as opposed to the epitome.
yeah, true.
I feel like if I
You
was
should
to
feel
make
attacked right now is what you should feel.
Right over the head.
I'm sorry, because I make good characters on there.
No, Ed, your TikTok where you tried to
The
pronounce
epitome,
words.
not the epitome. Oh my god, that's terrible.
That is so bad.
Why does it look like Chris Rock's younger brother or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's bad.
Looks like Cat Williams' older brother.
Yeah. They did not do a good job with that.
I've never seen his hair that way.
Ever.
I don't know. It's not good. Not good.
It's like the Thriller Jerry curl.
Be better, Madden. Be better.
Well, they certainly didn't put any of the updates from last year's game into the facial recognition feature. Jesus.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and they're also like, I mean, you've got all this like hardware and horsepower in these new generation systems, and it looks like they just went back to like Troy Aikman football on the SNES, and they were like, "Hey, here we go. We'll just like stick."
But isn't that always the complaint? Isn't that always the complaint about Madden? Is like they just rehash everything from the year before and change some names up, and here you go. You got Madden.
But you can gritty whenever you score a touchdown.
You can't.
They did some, I mean, I read up and watched some videos on some of the updates they actually did to Dynasty, and if they are as described, then Dynasty should finally be better from last year. But
when does that game come out?
Midnight last night.
Midnight last night?
If you had the
Pre-order?
At least pre-order.
Okay, because I was just looking it up earlier. Jeff and I were talking about it, and it says the 19th is the.
I know I have it right now available to play on my PlayStation.
So that's for the regular folks, not
folks like me who go out and get a
not the
disc.
folks that got the for folks that go buy the disc like Ed.
If you missed last week's episode, yeah,
you're gonna rent it at Redbox, Ed.
Well, I did. Did you see what
he's going to Hollywood Video?
Oh, dude, if it's still open though, did you see what Cam posted in the chat earlier? That the new NCAA game will not be available on PS4, it'll be on PS5 only.
I posted that.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go out and buy PS5. All right. Already asked. Told.
I mean, we've already had this talk with you, Ed.
I told Parker to ask for money for his birthday so we could split the cost of it.
Did you get permission?
I have money to buy it. Thank you.
You're trying.
I was just thinking about buying
You're trying to
to
split it with your son.
He's going to play it just as much as I am.
He's what, 7?
No, talking about that. No, he's 8, but that's fair, right? He's going to play it just as much as I am. So why not try to split it with him?
You're splitting it with your 8-year-old son. You have no shame.
He doesn't have a job, Ed.
I see nothing wrong with this.
Just buy it.
He's going to play
get him a
it just as much,
present.
if not more, than me. So why not just split the cost with him?
Ed,
He could his birthday.
Ed,
Think about what you said. You told your 8-year-old to ask for money for his birthday so that you could take it and split the cost on a PS5.
Again, he's going to play it just as much as me.
Unreal.
My PS4 down here, I can't play some of my games because he has his games loaded into it. And I don't have a very good hard drive. So he has his games loaded into it. I have to like delete games.
Maybe you should ask for money for your birthday to buy a better hard drive.
Well, I guess I could.
I know that this whole thing is going sideways right now, but I am just
Appalled.
Taken aback.
Oh, come on, don't act like you've never really.
I've literally never taken my children's birthday money to buy something for myself.
You've never said your kid
to go halfsies.
You've never said to your kid, "Hey, why don't you go ahead and ask for that video game for Christmas that you could play with it too?"
No, they say, "Hey, Dad, could I have this?" And I'm like, well, I mean, you've been pretty good. I'll just go buy it for you because I have a job.
Okay.
You don't.
Okay. Well, yesterday they asked for soccer trading cards, and they were. I bought it for them.
I had no idea this was where we were going to.
Did you go halvesies?
No, they had to pay.
Did you
for
make
them
him break
themselves.
his little piggy bank open and,
It's a
and
coconut,
give you like
yeah.
$4?
It was $10.
But halvesies.
Ed, do you guys split the cards when you go buy like new packs of trading cards and take the good ones out because you guys split them?
I don't buy the trading cards. See, I've learned, and I've tried to teach them when it comes to trading cards. They're basically looking for one player, right? They're looking for Cristiano Ronaldo. Just go to eBay and buy it for $5 because you're going to pay $5 for that pack and possibly not get them.
Can you say that name one more time?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Good old Cristiano Ronaldo.
Is that how you say it?
No.
Well, then there's Lewandowski.
This is
You guys don't even watch the soccer.
You're one of my favorite people in this entire world.
Oh, you want to start off with soccer? How'd their last game go, Ed?
Mid.
Tied.
Mid.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna drink this juice box.
It's almost like they asked the opponent if they wanted to go halfsies with them on the game.
Did you just see what Ed did? What he's drinking right now?
A juice box, for
He
sure.
stole his kid's lunch juice drink. When they go to school and they open their lunchbox tomorrow, they'll be like, I guess Dad went halvesies.
This what I did put this in the fridge for Parker's lunch tomorrow. I got to put another one in there. Oh, it just squirted on me.
Oh man, there's so many clips from the first 11 minutes and 59 seconds.
What's called Apple and Eve. They got to bring that story into the juice box. Probably gonna get this. Yeah. This juice box is probably banned from the schools.
It's canceled.
All right. Put us back on the rails.
There's
there.
Way too much talk of Christianity on this.
We're gonna go back to last Tuesday.
Okay. I'm on mute.
You should be. So last Tuesday, the Bengals stadium was renamed to Paycor Stadium.
Hey Joe Stadium.
I did see those shirts made by Cincy Shirts. Well done.
All right, Lindsay Patterson. She tweeted that out first.
I actually think it was Mo Egger who tweeted it out first.
Wrong.
I have tears on my face.
She got him by a minute.
Cincy Shirts has an agreement with Mo, so I mean, more power to him. If it wasn't Cincy Shirts, it would have been LFG or 513 or whoever.
I mean, it's a nice little play on words.
I like it.
Some might call it a pun.
It's punny.
Any thoughts on any of that?
No, I'm here for it. Like I said, like we've all said, right? We got to pay Joe. We got to pay these receivers when they come up. So, did you see they also sold the naming rights to the gate?
No,
I can't remember who they sold it to, but they did sell it to somebody. The naming rights to the gate, so you'll have pay Joe Stadium. Huh?
Did they sell it to Ballsack Sports? I'm just saying I haven't seen it anywhere, so I don't know if you got.
I'll look it up. Well, this is just like last week, right? When I told you guys that, that the Chattanooga Lookouts had been looked out for.
Fair enough. You were absolutely correct on that, and
you
nobody
were semi correct on that. Because it was just like an owner. It wasn't like the team itself, but But it was pretty good, Ed.
Yeah, you caught Tim so off guard. He was not ready for your randomness at all.
At all. No. Not a chance. No, as far as naming it Paycor, I don't care who you sell it to. Right? I mean, yeah, it's a little bit weird whenever they're like, we're going to halftime here at Paycor Stadium, and you're like, okay. But does it matter?
Oh,
does it really matter?
Not my Paycor Stadium.
If you're some old curmudgeon, maybe it matters to you that you can't so just keep calling it Paul Brown Stadium.
Yeah, I could not care less about this entire situation.
You know what I care about is the fact that it increases the amount of money that they have available and ready on hand for guaranteed contracts and things of that nature. And if you want to keep a winning team here, maybe you got to go play at Paycor Stadium and enter through P&G Gate or whatever.
I think that's fantastic. But my bigger takeaway than that is the fact that it shows that Mike Brown, as the top of ownership, is willing to do things that he has not ever seemed willing to do in the past. And I think it's just another step forward to becoming just like all of the other NFL teams.
Alta Fiber bought the naming rights to the Paul Brown Stadium gate.
Okay, very good.
That's like former Cincinnati Bell or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
I
mean,
they had the money since they got rid of their contract with the monorail.
I think
did they?
yeah. I think they came out and said it. They're like, renaming the stadium is not something that we really wanted, or wasn't like high on our priority list, but we've got to kind of get in line. Their version of whatever, right sizing their payroll or matching expectations with their money is add money to increase expectations. I mean, right?
I mean, that's what we got to do.
It was sort of the opposite of what we heard from Reds ownership.
True.
Yeah.
You should see the season ticket holder, the rings they all gave out yesterday.
Well, we did, because again, you put that in the chat.
Well, I have one.
Do you have season tickets, Ed?
No, actually.
So did you present yourself as a season ticket holder to get a ring?
No.
Who gave it to you?
My cousin.
Okay.
They're season ticket holders. I saw them down at the stadium yesterday.
Okay, so you didn't walk up and you're like, oh, I forgot all my stuff that identifies me as a season ticket holder, but I've got a kid here and I want to go halvesies on this ring.
I had 2 kids with me, so I would have got 3 rings.
Halvesies.
I got you there.
Birdsies.
No, it's nice. It's a nice ring. It's a nice. I mean, kind of like these.
What's it made out of?
Metal.
Is it?
It's kind of like these that they were giving away. Actually, it's just like these ones they were giving away at the Red Stadium.
The 1990 World Series ring.
They're going for like $500.
Like, I know, on eBay.
Yeah.
If you sell one, you wouldn't have to go halvesies and you give a PS5.
Actually, that's a solid point. If it wasn't my cousin who gave it to me, I would probably try to sell it.
You could go halvesies with your cousin on it.
Ooh, you're right. Good.
And then between the money you made there and the money that Parker gets for his birthday, you're not even out $1.
I might be upgrade to that PlayStation Network.
And a hard drive that's worth a damn.
Would that mean I have to get rid of discs? Because I have to keep discs.
No, I have a hard drive and a Jesus.
Yeah. So Ed, you went down to training camp yesterday?
Long story short, yeah, it was not planned. We went to Cincy Shirts to get Bryce a t-shirt. He wanted a t-shirt for the first day of school, and Parker asked if we could drive past TQL Stadium, so we did. And then Bryce asked if we could drive past Paul Brown Stadium, or Peugeot Stadium.
Did you
and
correct him?
I didn't. And then we got down there to the intersection where they cross the street, and I saw my cousin. She said, "Hey, they're coming out in 20 minutes." And I'm like, "Do I really want to stop?" And parking lot right in front of me said $5 parking. I said, "This could be the best $5 I've ever spent trying to entertain these boys." So I paid $5 and we walked over and just watched the players come out for a little bit. Didn't go to the practice.
Did the kids have to chip in on parking?
No, I took care of that one for him.
Well done.
I took care of that one for him.
So did you get any autographs or anything like that? Or
nah, normally when they're
beginning.
Yeah, normally when they're walking out to the practice, they're not signing autographs. But it's cool to see them walk out. The boys thought it was cool.
And then you didn't stay in scout practice to give us some updates on how things looked.
You got to buy tickets to that. We had practice last night, so that wasn't gonna happen.
I don't think you have to buy tickets.
You don't?
No, it's open.
I've always gotten tickets from season ticket holders. So
the only one you had to pay for was the one that they did inside Paul Brown Stadium.
Oh, okay, well,
I think you do have to get tickets, even the ones outside, but you just walk up to the window and ask for tickets because they can only have so many people at those practices.
I told the boys we'd go back down to another time, maybe next year, to watch practice. School starts tomorrow, so
start saving up for parking. Dad's not paying again.
You're right. They need to go pick up sticks in the backyard so we pay for parking. Actually, funny story. I paid $5 for parking, and then when I was standing there in line, the dude changed the amount. Like, he changed the amount to $12.
What did you end up paying? $5?
$5, yeah. I think I should go back and check my statement. But I mean, we saw Mike Brown come out, saw Dan Horde, Again, Joe Burrow, Evan McPherson, all the guys came out. They were all seemed pretty cool.
All the guys.
All the guys.
One lady was holding up a sign that said, "Who Day was my first word. Please sign my jersey. I'm going to college tomorrow." But I think somebody should have told her that Who Day is 2 words. And her sign was also upside down.
Did you go tell her?
Oh, I saw it happen. I'm not here correcting people.
You brought your A game tonight, brother. Like, I don't know.
Why
So
is
you
that
let
sound?
this poor
You didn't
girl.
take your medicine this morning.
I didn't.
You let this poor girl, who was like, "This is gonna be it. I'm gonna get an autograph."
She had a.
Who Day was my first word.
She had a dude with her. I don't know if it was her brother, a boyfriend. I don't know who she was, but that ain't my responsibility. That's her. That's his responsibility.
I mean, as a decent human,
I'm not
It
trying to
could
get
have
me
been-
too'd over here.
you could have been like, "Yo, sign's upside down," and
We did yell it eventually. We did say, "Hey, your sign's upside down." She didn't hear us. So
She'd have been like, "Thanks, Big Ed," and you could have said,
she know my name.
"Watch our show Tuesday nights."
We're gonna be talking about you.
No, Dan Hort said hi to me though.
Did he say hi? Like,
You're like, friend of the show, Dan. Hi.
No, he was actually. You guys saw the video I sent to you guys where Dan was like following the receivers out. As soon as the receivers cross the street, everybody's cheering for the players. So I was like, I'm gonna cheer for Dan. I was like, let's go, Dan. All right, Dan. He's like, you're supposed to cheer for the players. I was like, nah, man, you the man. He said, thank you. I appreciate that.
You are truly one of a kind.
That was the end of the conversation with Dan Hort.
Not, hey, we've actually talked before.
I thought about throwing that out there.
did you freeze up on that part, Ed?
Actually, my cousin said, "Who's that?" I said, "Well, that's Dan Hort. He's been on the show." Actually, she said, "Who is that? Do you know him?" I was like, "Yeah,
Was he
he's been on the
wearing-
show before."
Was he wearing a hat?
Can't remember.
Or cheering for the guy with the hat on. I was like, yeah, this guy with the hat on.
A guy with a hat. He just stood up. I don't know why they're cheering for him.
People thought it was weird, but it's fine.
Fair enough. When the shoe fits, or the hat, some might say.
What did you guys think of the preseason game on Friday night, though?
Oh, look at you with the transition. I like it.
Transition.
I like it. How about that? Listen, for living out of market, I think it's a crazy thing that we didn't have the game here in Athens, with Joe Burrow being, I don't know, the prodigal son of Athens. Like, that said, I did have to buy NFL Plus to watch the game for $30.
Is that the iPhone or like the Verizon or whatever the?
Well, it used to
phone-
be the
it's like-
Verizon thing.
but it's a phone app now, right? Like, but
Correct.
you can only watch games on like the preseason games you can watch on like a TV, but then like when games come during the season, you have, and that's only I think for another year.
That's only if
while-
you got the NFL Plus Premium. Could you watch the regular season? I think I do have audio though for the entire season on my phone.
Okay. Huh.
Whatever.
That'd be nice if you can pick like the radio broadcast.
Correct. I think that's the case.
That'd be awesome.
So $30, not crazy for that, especially if I'm doing any type of traveling. I can listen as long as I have a signal.
And if I understand correctly, I think who is it that has like NFL ticket, DirecTV or something?
DirecTV still, and I think
think
this is
they
the
have it
last
for-
year.
This is the last year.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think we've talked about this before with like the Big 12, any of those, like any of the P5 conferences, really any conference having their own streaming stuff. It's very clear, I think, and I know that the NFL's kind of made it a priority to get their streaming things in order. And it would seem like this is a good test run to do it. Like, hey, let's let everybody, have their iPads or their iPhones or their whatever Android device. I don't even know what their, however many of those are. Make sure that it all works and functions properly for the year. And then next year, you can roll it out where you can cast it to your TV or you can use a Roku or Apple TV.
I hope Apple gets the
Google
exclusive rights.
Chromecast.
Apple should get the exclusive rights.
No. Then I got to split the cost of Apple TV with my son.
Just leaning into the joke now.
No, because how am I gonna?
He's gonna want to watch all.
What is that?
Shows
$5, $6, $10 a month?
I mean, I thought you were already going in on an Apple TV with your son, considering that's where the MLS is going to be.
Yeah,
in its
Forgot about
entirety.
that.
You know,
All
I've
right.
enjoyed Apple TV's like broadcasts of things.
I
like
did
their
enjoy
Apple-
that
I like-
Reds broadcast. That was good. It was clean. The lines were clean.
Yeah, and it's a little different. Like you get a little different perspective from the announcers they use, and then there's all kinds of stats all over the screen, kind of neat probabilities and whatnot. I don't know. I think they do a good job.
So back to the game. There was a preseason game. The Bengals lost, and the Falcons made sure in an odd flex that they knew. Like the Bengals knew that they lost as they moved the Bengals down on the power rankings for
That was very weird.
reasons unbeknownst to me.
It was Arizona.
Touche, not the Falcons. You went. I was switching back and forth between the Falcons game because Dez.
Yeah.
But yes, you are correct. It was Arizona, but still a weird move on Arizona's part.
It was strange.
It's a
it was
preseason
strange.
game. Like all of the starters sat. Like it was equally weird to see some national talking heads trying to bring up, is the Bengals offensive line in trouble this year? Like after one preseason game where all of the starters sat, including Jesse Bates, who was up in a suite.
Just because a couple, and you already heard my thoughts on that. Go ahead. See you later, buddy. I liked Axel. I mean, I thought such a weird flex.
What a strange thing.
And they blacked out the L.
Also, I mean, only one of those teams at the top two went to their proverbial championship or playoffs for that matter. So I'm not sure that Ohio State should be number one. I think the Bengals are number one until otherwise noted.
Bengals, University of Cincinnati, and Miami, Ohio, shouldn't it?
No, Ohio State probably number three.
Ohio State should probably be down behind the Zips.
They were number 5 in the college football playoff rankings.
I did think it's hilarious that they just like rocketed the Browns straight to the bottom.
Well,
behind the Zips, yeah.
They're a shitbag organization.
See those videos coming out?
Man. We can.
We're not talking about that again.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I don't know. I was obviously the only true starter that or returning starter that was out there that we saw little Huber Drew Chrisman punt competition action going on, and then it appears that Evan McPherson's leg has just gotten stronger.
56 and 58,
and it wasn't even close to missing.
They had plenty of distance left on him.
You know, he said a monster.
He said last year on McAfee's show that his younger brother kicks better than he does.
Yeah,
I think
Alabama. I
think we talked about that last year, that his youngest brother is breaking all of his records.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did say that last year. Yeah.
Which is wild. And I think his older brother was a kicker too, and was pretty good, at least in high school level. I don't know where he went college wise or whatever, but I forget. I looked it up way back when, but
well, and you said that that Huber and McPherson were the only starters that played. Not so fast, my friend.
Did I miss some people?
Well, Cordell Volson put himself into the starting lineup.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Because
I mean, there were a couple Super Bowl starters on the offensive line.
Jackson Carman embarrassed himself at left guard.
Dude,
I believe he got the worst grade by PFF in all of the offensive linemen in the preseason, week 1. Worst. And now he's injured. So is he really injured, or is he just really bad?
That ego's injured.
His ego should have already been injured.
Are you saying he's embarrassed?
I mean, I don't know. You're
going against like third stringers, maybe a couple second string guys. I don't know like the depth chart of Arizona, especially
Myjai Sanders.
And they moved him to like linebacker,
and then he's playing on that edge rush as like an outside
like
linebacker.
A hybrid,
like
kind of a hybrid role there.
Also, another former Bearcat on that team in Wiggins. Safety.
But he wasn't. Was he playing?
He was in the second half. Yeah.
I totally missed that.
He got injured last season and he got cut, and then they brought him back, and then he got injured. And James Wiggins is back with them after sitting out the injury, but he's back with them for a second season. But yeah, very cool to see Cordell Volson launch himself into he's been practicing with the starters since the game.
Yeah, I mean he did very well, and there was a lot of talk about how well he did. And somebody, I forget who it was. It might have been, maybe it was Aaron, or could have been when Dave Simone was on one time.
I had never said his name.
Somebody was very, very high on him.
I believe that was Dave.
It was probably Dave because he's smart with that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how things kind of shake out. You had Joe Burrow coming back to practice this week. By all the videos I saw, it doesn't look like he really missed a beat. I know Zach said I think he said he doesn't anticipate any changes to the way that they operate for game 2 of the preseason.
He was supposed to be on limited time in his first day back, and he went much longer than anticipated.
That's because he counted his limited time as the days he was rolling around handing out water from the golf cart and the little his little mobility scooter or whatever he was on. So, but yeah, I think they said that there's not going to be any like big changes as far as personnel wise for the second preseason game, and then we'll probably likely see maybe a couple series out of them in the third preseason game. And
so I wanted to ask you guys about that kind of schematic, I guess, because this is kind of a new generation of NFL, as there's only 3 preseason games compared to the 4 that we largely grew up watching. I think that there may have even been 6 when we were like young. Like
I don't recall the number back then.
But yeah, 4. I don't miss 4 preseason games. I don't like 3. I think that we should have just gone to 18 games regular season, got rid of another preseason game if you wanted to cut things back.
It might end up there, but
I think that that's the end game at this point. But how do you feel about the starters literally not playing at all and only going to practice, like the camp, and even then they're not tackling?
I used to feel real strongly about it. Like I used to feel like they need to go out there and like get hits in and just kind of like get that stamina built back up. But anymore, these guys are just training all year long. So I mean, anymore they're ready to go football. You know what I mean? They're ready to go full pads right away. So I really don't care if we put the starters in anymore. Let's watch the guys who are trying to make the team play. Let's see the younger guys come up. I'm okay with that.
I'd just be worried about injuries because
exactly that too.
You don't know how to take a hit when you're not taking hits from college to, I mean, especially for the young guys.
Well, let's look at Zach Wilson, for example. I mean, everybody thought he tore his Achilles in that play. Luckily, it was just a bone bruise, but
ACL. His meniscus.
They thought it was ACL, not Achilles.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So he did actually tear his meniscus.
That's what I thought I read, but they said it's like 4 weeks or something.
Okay.
But still, I mean,
it could have been, yeah.
You're looking at 4 weeks without,
with Joe Flacco.
Now 4 weeks of no, your guy, whatever. But can that happen in the first? But that can happen in the first week of the season too.
It's absolutely true.
But like I said, I think that that's part of not being able to take a hit because you haven't taken one since maybe January if you played that long.
December, like how long has it been? I mean,
8
obviously,
months. That's a long ass time.
Obviously, our boys, they They were playing all. They played all the way to the end.
But still, December or January. That's like 9 months without taking a hit. Like that's a long ass time.
Yeah.
Or to be the guy delivering a tackle.
I mean, at least like probably the skill guys like outside of the quarterback are taking hits and hitting each other, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel like I said, I feel like they're still training year round. Like I feel like they're still. I mean, it may not be as.
I don't believe Zach Taylor allows tackling in practices. I think back to any of the clips that you've seen thus far from preseason. I can't recall a receiver, and I think a lot of the stuff I've seen has been sidelines or touchdowns, but I am pretty sure that he doesn't actually allow tackling in his
They've got to do some tackling drills, right?
I would think.
Maybe on dummies.
Yeah, go find something. Also, we also lost Wyatt Hubert this week.
If Ed would have gone actually into practice, we would have had a definitive answer. He could have been like, "Yeah, guys, I was in there. I saw them. They were tackling."
We went drone over top of it.
You already got you. You're already on a watch list for that, Ed.
I'm already on a watch list, so
way to go.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. Obviously, there's going to be another preseason game to watch, and then the final one where we'll maybe get to see a little bit of the starters and go from there. And I'm just ready for the season to start. Like I'm ready for everything to matter. Obviously, we've got the Bearcats coming up, and that's a big game right off the rip.
So I've watched about 6 videos just real quickly on Twitter, and not a single one of them I've seen a tackle. They all just released right before.
2.5 weeks, Jeff. 2.5 weeks till Arkansas.
And that's there's actually a couple like decent top 25 matchups going on in that first weekend.
Are we ready to move off the Bengals and get into the Bearcats then?
I actually hold on. I do have like a couple things I want to pose about the Bengals.
Well, I wanted to point out that Kendrick Pryor was really good. He was the one who made that one-handed grab
at the end. He caught the pass from Drew Plitt
from Loveland. Yeah,
that was a nice ball.
He caught a great touchdown. I didn't read anywhere that Plitt's been cut yet. Truthfully, with Brandon Allen being out with a concussion, I wouldn't be terribly upset to see Plitt hang on.
I wouldn't be upset to see him start the next preseason game.
I thought the kid looked
over. Who was the other kid? Browning.
Yeah, I didn't see anything from Browning that I was impressed
with.
That
was anything special.
He's not playing with the heart of the city.
I mean, here I did see some idiot make a comment on Twitter that said, right, exactly, that there's a lot of intelligence going around that freaking app.
Twitter cesspool.
And I wish I would have saved it, but he said that it was like somebody tweeted out the clip of Drew Plitt's touchdown there at the end of the game. And it said that was evidence that Burrow is nothing more than a system quarterback. And Aaron's muted, and I know he's got to be punching a wall.
If that were true, what happened to the Bengals when Joe Burrow went out? Like when he went down.
System quarterback, Aaron.
I don't like those takes. I don't like those takes at all. Like
garbage.
I heard somebody say that Joe Burrow is when he had his appendectomy. I heard that somebody said, is that the word? Is that what I'm looking for? Thank you. You can at least give me props for it, right?
It's so close.
I heard somebody call him an injury-prone quarterback.
Yeah, because of why?
Appendicitis is
because he had appendicitis. He was an injury-prone quarterback.
What's that procedure called?
An appendectomy.
So close.
Almost.
What is it?
Appendectomy. Appendectomy.
Like
Look, you're living up there. You're living up there in the country now. Eventually, you're going to start talking the way I do.
Never, ever.
Look at our friend Christina. She went to whatever that college was, Rio Grande, for 1 month. She came back with an accent like this, y'all.
I seen it.
I seen it happen.
The first time that our intro music stops and Aaron goes, "Welcome back, y'all." I'm done. Flip it off.
I quit. Actually, remove me. Send me back.
Aaron just gets deleted out of the thing.
Just like I'm the new host.
Hey guys.
I'm the captain of the ship now.
Good Lord. Anybody else stand out to you though before we move off the Bengals?
No, what I was gonna say is, one, would any kind of records count, like distance wise on field goals? Because if they do, I would be totally down for them to set McPherson up, for like a
No,
16.
they don't count in the preseason.
It wouldn't count.
Records.
I mean, it's the same distance. But I guess
You'd know in your heart.
yeah. I would just like to see an exhibition of it.
Which, by the way, did you see Punt God?
Like 82 yards or something?
82 yard?
Net 62.
Net 67, isn't it? Because it goes 25. I thought punt returns.
Well, then it would be net 57.
Yes, you're right.
McAfee today said it was net 62, but he could just be going off old math.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
Regardless, an 82-yard punt is just
You got
Wild.
If you're doing 82 yards, you got to figure out how to coffin corner it. We've all had to do that stupid challenge on Madden. You got to figure out how to coffin corner it.
I mean, but still, if your team is pinned that far back and you can be like if you're that far back that you're punting at 82 yards and it goes out the end zone
from the 18-yard line,
and you're gonna flip you're essentially you're gonna give them the ball. I would take that every time.
I was one of the people who every time I did a mock draft, he was on my team.
I also wanted to. There's a lot of people that had like a lot of hate for that. They're like, you don't need that kind of that kind of leg. And why? It automatically, at least if you're down in the end zone and you just puts his monster leg into it, flips the field around.
Ed, you can look it up for me, but Kevin Huber, what was his average last season? Because I think it was in the 40s. And when you're averaging somewhere 45, 47, and instead you're blasting it somewhere in the realm of 60, 70, 80 in the case of the preseason game. And of course, there was probably adrenaline being his first game and all that. So maybe you have a little extra on that one than you would, because you're trying to pin them back, but not give them the extra 20 back into the field. But yeah,
46.4.
I got 45.3.
Either way, right about what
that's
I said.
That's his career average.
Oh, you're correct.
So you tack on another 15 every single time he kicks, and we're at 60.
His long was 61.
Tack on another 25.
The year before that, his longest was 72.
Every now and then you're blasting it 70 yards. You cannot tell me that that's not a fantastic weapon to have, especially if you can channel it and get him to not just kick for distance, but also kick for, hey, we're in a situation where we only need a 48, 50-yard kick. So
his net average was 41, which has actually been, his season or his career net average is 40.4.
Huber?
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's half of an 82-yard kick. Sheesh. Wow. Even if you go with, what'd you say, 62 net? Even if you're going with 62 net,
that was his long. Oh, you mean with Punt God?
With Punt God. Was it? I think Matt Ariza.
Matt Ariza.
Yeah, I mean, even going with just the net, that's more than Kevin Huber's longest.
Yeah. I wonder what like I mean, this is something that could be looked up there, but like his net average is pretty close to his like average punt. So I guess at least he's not giving up big returns.
Yeah, doesn't sound like it. Maybe
I mean, I don't
there's
know
something to be said for that, but
I mean, is that I get hang time? I mean, I assume to punt the ball 82 yards, you have to have ridiculous hang time too. So you're not hitting like
right.
a missile that's coming down to the ground, like
It's just a piss missile right at
right,
the play.
just like hitting people in the face, knocking them out.
Well, I felt bad for the returner because he's like scrambling, trying to get back to it. Like he did not understand the assignment.
Well, that's the other thing. Like you got a dude that's gonna like, if you have a guy that can hit it that far,
how much more field do you have to be able to cover as a returner?
Right. Now, I guess also that also
if
goes
you're all
to
that
like,
if you're all that far way back though, and
like your gunner has to go back that far, and like, but if you have to retreat every time because you're like, I don't know if this is the time he's about to like unload one that's just gonna stop, like come down and stops. Like I got to get back and try and return it. Like how many times are they gonna be receiving the ball over their shoulder on a punt? Like
absolutely bananas.
It'd be interesting to see how it ends up playing out like throughout the season for sure.
I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game. I was making dinner and what have you, and watching the baby and all of that. So I didn't get to see and zone in on Joseph Osai, who's making his comeback.
I didn't actually pay much attention, and I'm sad to say that, but I did see a lot of plays from. I think we have football practice or something. Maybe I think I was at football practice, but I got to see some highlights and things. But like Dax Hill, kid's got a nose for the ball. He looked a lot bigger. I don't know if I was talking to you about that, Aaron, or not, but he looked a lot bigger than I, for whatever reason, thought he was. I was very impressed with him, with Dax Hill, and I said as much in the text group.
Enough that you're totally good.
Obviously, it's silly to say like, send a guy like Jesse Bates packing, but I think
you're comfortable.
I think he looks like he will, fit the role just fine if that were the case.
Sure. I don't know. There's obviously a lot more preseason to come, as there are 2 more games still. There are some position battles, clearly, as we've seen on the offensive line.
What?
Even a battle at punter. I mean, there's
a punt battle,
the rare punt battle,
right?
But yeah, I there has been nothing that I have seen or heard out of Bengals camp that has me remotely pessimistic about a fall off from last season.
Oh, I'm really excited for the third one. Obviously, just to see like those
1 or 2 drives,
a couple series with like the real dudes in. Let them get out there and run some stuff, see what it's like, see what all those new offensive linemen, see what we got there.
It's got to look better than Deshaun Watson looked.
Yeah. So we'll just see. Well, I mean, obviously it's a wait and see thing, but it was a strange feeling that I had watching like the little bits of it that I could see, just because I wasn't looking and being like, God, man, like we're losing a preseason game. Like everybody looks awful. It was more like, let me look at like what Dax Hill's doing. Okay. Like, I like that, or, Volson. Yeah. I like what I'm seeing there. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was more of this kind of showcase for individual people to be like, oh, yeah. And then, obviously Allen goes down with a concussion. And then get that Browning kid in. You're like, oh, I mean, he just nothing special there. And then Drew Plitt comes in. You're like, okay, like I like that pass you just drilled there at the end of the game, and the excitement, then rushing down and being like, "Give me this football," because the nature of the NFL and fourth string quarterback is you might not ever get to see the field again, or you could explode and become some great player. Who knows? But I thought it was all kind of cool, and we'll see where the next couple weeks go and get excited and break some of that down.
I can't wait. I'm very excited about this NFL season. I've had Madden now for 22 plus hours. Haven't got my hands on it yet. Busy running around with kids going back to school tomorrow and a 1-month-old, and trying to do timestamps for archive videos on Bearcat Journal. But there are a smattering of Bearcats around the NFL, as NFL Week 1 is behind us now. Some of those Bearcats looked really good in the NFL.
I've seen a lot of positive things out there being tweeted.
Looking at you, Jerome Ford, with your 41-yard rush, 57 total yards, and a touchdown. Are you talking, Ed?
Good for him.
Were you on mute?
No.
He just kind of moved his lips and nothing came out.
Bunch of gibberish.
I forgot about Dre.
Huh.
I just saw the best NIL deal commercial.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. That's a good.
Oh, you've seen it too. Okay.
Oh yeah, I got tagged in it actually. But Jerome Ford had a big game. I don't know why Ed has no love for Jerome Ford. Is it because he's a Brown? Like,
I never said I had no love for. I said good for him. That's a good thing. Good for him. Way to go out there and ball.
You did not seem like it was.
Oh no, I'm sorry. If
Good
that
for
came
him.
off- what? Now you're just trying to put shit in my mouth.
No, nothing came out of your mouth. Just trying to figure out where you stand on this.
No, that's great. I love it when Bearcats come out there and ball out.
Your voice got higher.
Are you upset because you don't have this blue slushy?
Following up the apple juice with a beer, as only Ed can.
I only had
Hold
one
on,
box of
Ed.
apple juice in there.
And you stole it from your kid.
Not 100% true.
They went halfsies on it.
You admitted that you put it in the fridge for your kid for lunch, and then you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna take it."
I'll put another one in there tonight before I go to bed.
Alec Pierce, 27 yards with the Colts, and his.
Dude, he's been getting so much love up there.
He has. I think the Colts love him.
I'm surprised he didn't have a bigger game. Like, people weren't high on him post game. They were high on him through camp thus far, but they were not high on him post game there.
Really? I mean, did he just, obviously I didn't watch the game, and I haven't
Just
seen
what I've
any
seen on
videos.
Twitter.
Was it just like there wasn't a lot of like chatter about him, or they were like down on him?
Maybe there were some drops or something. I'm not sure. But Desmond Ridder had a hell of a finish to the Atlanta Falcons game as he capped it off with a game-winning drive, because all Desmond Ridder does is win.
Yes.
Plain and simple. You also saw Brian Cook on special teams as I'm not sure if it was a gunner or on, I believe it was punt return, just trying to knock someone's head off, as Brian Cook does. No one should be surprised.
Nobody from here should be surprised.
Kobe Bryant has been earning some looks with the first team on defense in Seattle.
I'm sorry. Also, Desmond Ridder was getting a lot of love from Dax Prescott. Or no, not Dax Prescott.
Well, it's Dak.
Dak,
With
whatever.
a
The
K.
guy who used to play for the Cowboys. I can't think of his name right now. The wide receiver. You guys know who I'm talking about? Can you help me out here? Can you help me out here?
I don't know
Bryant?
where you,
It is
Des Bryant.
Des Bryant.
Des Bryant. Thank you.
Des Bryant giving Des Ritter some love.
A lot of love.
Easy name to remember when talking about Des.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Joe DeBlanco got signed by Seattle about a week ago after getting released by the New Orleans Saints at linebacker. Led all of the Seattle Seahawks in tackles in his first game a week after coming off the street for them. I did look up Michael Young, who did not seem to have any stats with the Colts, unfortunately. I'm not sure what's going on there, or if he's going to, I don't know if he's going to make the team there or practice squad or anything. But you also hope to see that if they're not going to get a chance with that team, that they get released early enough to try and land somewhere where they might. Kobe Bryant, though, as I was saying, he has been getting run with the starters out in Seattle. He did get picked on a little bit as, is it George Pickens? Is that his name? What's Pickens' first name in
I don't know, but I know he's a Steeler.
It's not Carl.
I think it is George.
I think it's George. From Georgia. But he had a hell of a catch.
It is.
Against Kobe. Where literally Kobe could not have played it any better in the replay I saw.
Yeah.
But Kobe's still getting a lot of love in Seattle. They talk about him being one of the smartest players that they've ever been around. And you definitely love to see that. Sauce continues to get just heaped praise upon.
Speaking of Sauce and the name Carl, what are your thoughts on Carl Lawson saying we need the, is that just some, I guess that's probably just some friendly.
He said, we're not going to call him Sauce until he's earned it. He's a mod to us. Here's the thing, Carl.
We've all seen that. We've all seen that interview as well, Carl.
Fickle did it before anybody. Like, that was Fickle's thing. He did not call him Sauce until he was drafted.
You saw Pardon My Take too?
No, I saw.
No, I'm saying Carl saw Pardon My Take as well.
Maybe.
Is that what Fick said on Pardon My Take?
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like he also said it at the actual NFL draft. Like in the post game, I'm pretty sure he said that in his interview, that Go Bearcats football.
I think I don't remember that. I remember him saying it to us, but yeah.
I just don't think that Carl,
Pickens?
Is it Pickens?
Carl Lawson?
Thank you.
Carl Lawson.
George Pickens.
Why do you keep saying Carl Pickens? Good God. Carl
Because
Lawson.
I'm all confused now.
Yeah, shocker. Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson does not have the same amount of clout or je ne sais quoi that Luke Fickle has to be declaring we're not calling him Sauce until he earns it. Hey, Carl, maybe no one should call you anything. Maybe no one should call you a Jet until you earn it, because I don't think you've actually played a game.
I couldn't tell you.
Injured.
Aaron has a little animosity towards that guy.
It's just dumb. Like, it's already been done. Like, oh, we're not going to call him Sauce. Okay. What's he have to do to earn it to you? Play a game? Because then he's better than you. More games as a Jet.
Wow.
Or same amount of games as a Jet as you play your first games together. Just stupid.
Have you
That's
been
how I feel.
Have you been higher ground yet, Aaron?
You brought out Grumpy Aaron.
Aaron was here last week, wasn't he? He was there on Tuesday?
I made it to A Day last week, yes.
See anything you care to talk about?
Any food updates?
We had lasagna, chicken tenders, macaroni and cheese. They did have the Bearcat bars. I didn't eat one.
It's a Bearcat bar.
You'll have to get Chad's description on a Bearcat bar. but they did have Bearcat bars that day.
What is the only word that is so fragile that it breaks when you say it?
Silence. Continue, Aaron.
Dang, I thought you were going to say Tyler Eifert.
It was a Twitter.
It was a
video
TikTok,
that UC did. They were asking the players when they came off the field, what's the word that you say that breaks it?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Answer silence.
Evan Prater thought he had it twice.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I did like watching the guy in the ghillie suit, though.
The ghillie suit, huh? Those videos have not come out yet.
Yeah, the guy in the ghillie suit was running after people today. I watched it on Twitter.
Oh, I missed it.
Yep. I didn't see it personally. I just saw it on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, the my favorite part about being at Camp Higher Ground is the Gatorade on tap. It's the absolute best Gatorade I've ever had in my entire life. Bar none.
Any of the scissor lift smoking this year?
It was daytime, so no.
No, nothing was on fire.
Nothing was on fire.
Were you overly impressed with anybody that isn't a big name out there? That
Steven, I'm not sure if it was a guy or not. It was a full ghillie suit. Maybe it was the shark, old Sharky out there in the ghillie suit. I couldn't tell. So I was not there when they recorded it. I'm not sure. Again, I'm sure Chad will have the answer for that tomorrow on the BCJ pod. But what were you asking, Jeff? I'm sorry.
Was there anybody that you saw that is not like maybe is not a big name or a name that people know that you were like, maybe put him on my radar?
Based on play or based on physicality, like just how they look physically?
Just anything. I mean, like somebody that was out there that you might, even maybe somebody that doesn't look like they, I don't know, at this point, all the recruits that they bring in look like they, can play the part. But
well, and I was going to say, like, Chad and I talk about shit like this at length on the nightcap, on the BBP and all of that. But guys who look like they're going to be dudes, maybe not today. I'm on record saying that JQ Hardaway is going to be a starter by week 4. I still stand by that. I think he's too good to keep him off the field. Jaquan Shepard has been putting up a fight, trying to keep his position as they jockey for that starting position there at corner. Nick Mardner, again, another guy who he's been on preseason watch lists. He is deservedly so. Like, you see him and he's a guy who doesn't look like he's moving fast, but because he's 6'6", his strides are bigger than everyone else's. The fun thing is JQ Hardaway is usually right there with him in his 6'3" frame. So that's been a fun matchup to watch. Juwan Briggs somehow got bigger. That's a name that people are definitely familiar with. Quincy Burrows is a guy that he's a receiver, and he's going to be – you will know that name. He will be – anyone who's a Cincinnati fan will know his name. Maybe not this season, but certainly before he is done here in Cincinnati. Trying to think who else really just kind of popped. And Quincy did make some plays that day. Shimon Mateer, once Josh Wiley and Lenny Taylor are no longer at Cincinnati after this season, Shimon Mateer is going to keep that tight end room in good hands because he's, again, just another dude who's a dog. I mean, you can I think that's the most fun thing about this roster right now is there's a lot of guys because you have so many holes currently that have been vacated by players who are no longer here. You have a giant opportunity for a lot of guys to make a name for themselves. And whether it's this season or next season, I think you're going to see some of these guys emerging as there's going to be some battles that while you end up with a starter, maybe not outside of quarterback, when you're looking at halfback, when you're looking at Chad got mad at me when I said halfback, running back. But when you're looking at corner, when you're looking at safety, when you're looking at offensive line, defensive line, there's a lot of places where you could have rotation. And
Hockey style?
I mean, I'm not sending out the entire line, no. But I think that you're going to see some of these battles are too close to be like, no, you are the full-time guy, 100% of the snaps, always the end. I also think you're going to see some different looks on both offense and defense that, given the personnel that they have right now, you weren't able to throw out there. Why would you have taken one of your receivers off the field last year to add another tight end? Whereas this season, you might see some formations that have 2 and 3 tight ends. On defense, you have linebacker. Luke's on record saying you have 5 of the best 11 guys at linebacker. And when you traditionally only have 3 guys at linebacker on the field at a time, you have to find ways to get some of those guys on the field. So I think you're going to see some different formations than we're accustomed to seeing. And it's simply because Cincinnati has continued to stack year after year after year after year of the best recruiting class that this school has ever seen. Also, it seems that they don't miss on transfers. Noah Potter is going to be a dude. I mean, 6'5", 250.
Dog.
He's going to be a dude.
What about Ryan Coe?
Dog.
He's got a big leg, and he's going to be good. He's gotten a little bit of accuracy issues. Chad's mentioned that he had a kick that was blocked and seemed to get into his own head about it. Ivan Pace, Deshaun's brother from Coleraine, just
Dog.
Another guy that flies to the ball, is going to be a menace on defense, and has been mentioned
isn't he on a preseason
watch list for the butt kiss for the I want to say it was.
Can you say that again?
No, but it was best linebacker and potentially defensive player of the year. I mean, he's the reigning MAC player of the year.
So let me ask you this,
or at least MAC defensive player of the year.
All of the talent that it seems that they have in the pipeline, that they've gone out and brought in from elsewhere, meaning from other, from some transfers and things. Does this seems to me that it's much more of a reload than a rebuild?
And if you hear any of the guys talking in like the interviews after camp, that's pretty much the resonating thought process, is that this is a reload year, not a rebuild year. And I think that that's why you see the quarterback battle where it's at. They're not like, I don't think you bring in a Ben Bryant. You don't bring him back if you're trying to rebuild. If you're trying to rebuild, it's Evan's show, period. The end.
So then does it surprise you? That's probably a bad way to put it. In a bubble, would it surprise you to say that a team that was 4th in the, I don't know, we'll go with the AP poll at the end of last year, that is seemingly reloading with, it's top tier talent, would be the only team in the top 10 that falls outside the top 15 in the first poll of this year?
I don't know why you're surprised by that.
That's what I'm trying to say. I mean,
let's go back to last season. Let's go back to last season. And every opportunity, the coaches poll or the AP poll got to shit on Cincinnati, like literally wipe their ass with the list that Cincinnati's name was on.
I get it, but you see a team like Clemson. They go from they ended last year at 14. They're number 4 to start the year, right?
You're trying to do it, man. You're trying to bring out Grumpy Aaron again.
I'm already grumpy about it.
Preseason polls are bullshit.
They're stupid. It's dumb. How do you? I just don't get how you take a team that did what UC did last year, right? Like, okay, essentially, Alabama, Ohio State, like all the Notre Dame, we beat Notre Dame last year.
Correct.
Pretty handily, as a matter of fact.
It's the simple fact that
And I know they always get boosted up there. I get it.
They don't
and
believe
UC is in the AAC.
they are in the AAC, and they don't bolster a recruiting class by the rankings that these other teams have.
And maybe we'll get proven wrong.
Maybe Arkansas wipes the floor with us.
Maybe.
But maybe they don't. And if they don't, they've ranked Arkansas low enough to where
at least they're ranked, they're ranked ahead of where UC is, right? By like 4 spots.
They were always going to be because SEC, and because you're not going to have a matchup like Arkansas and Cincinnati. If you are ESPN, you're making sure you're doing everything that you can to make sure that this is a matchup that is going to be.
And then you get Utah
looking good on TV ratings. So you have to make sure
Utah's
it's a top
Pac-12
25
team. Utah's a Pac-12 team. All right. And they're ranked 7th. And I know they were good last year, right? So they get the respect. You take the team that finishes number 4 in the poll and you dump them to 23.
They're a Power 5. Call the Pac-12 what you will, but they're top 5. They're Power 5.
Is Utah the only team left in the Pac-12?
No, Oregon's still there. You asked. You asked. I gave you an answer.
Yeah, and they moved all the way up to 11. They're like, we cannot have another, outside.
No, the Pac-12 will always be overinflated, and they'll always get embarrassed because that's largely what happens
until they dissolve and don't exist anymore.
Until Oregon shits on Ohio State at Ohio State, and
like Wake Forest, Ole Miss, UK. How are these teams ahead of UC?
UK's.
I know why.
UK's a basketball school, not a football school.
Right. Exactly.
What a shit show that was.
That
And then
Twitter agreement yesterday.
the Clemson thing drives me nuts.
Always.
Especially these 3 right in front.
Well,
Okay,
again,
and Houston, I feel like Houston.
Preseason polls are
right
dumb. There shouldn't
they
be.
are.
There should not be any polls until week 4, until you know what freshmen look like, until you know what the progression of juniors and seniors look like.
It's too hard. It's too hard to fix the the early loss to whoever if you don't have unless you have a ranking that's already high enough up that you can only drop them back a few spots for an early season loss. Whereas I did see that there was some AP people that had put UC up in the top 15.
I think somebody had them as high as 8.
Yeah, there was some respect being put on the name.
Well, because at the end of the day, I don't think that you can say that Luke Fickell is recruiting these mid recruiting classes when launched 9 dudes into the NFL, one of which was not ranked at all.
He goes out and gets a bunch of dogs.
A second round pick had no stars when he was recruited to college. I think Dez was 2 stars.
I would have been all right with
he might be Dez had 2 stars, and he might end up being the starter in Atlanta.
Yeah. It's just
NFL scouts. I mean, they believe in Luke Fickell because they've been at practices. There's been NFL scouts showing up. I don't know who they're looking at yet, but maybe they don't either. But they know that Luke's bringing some dudes in.
Always dogs, if you will.
Dog.
So that's how I feel about that. Whether it's the AP, whether it's the coaches poll, polls are stupid, and they shouldn't be a thing until there's been games played, because you're putting the final rankings in the hands of preseason rankings, really. Right?
No, we've all complained and whined and stuff about it before, and we all have a much better view on it than these. Whatever. Now I'm mad.
Why are you mad? I feel like I've been the one talking too much.
No,
So.
it's just disrespectful, and I've said it already. Like, how do you? Okay, like Alabama, fair. Ohio State, as much as we like poke and prod and
Hate 'em.
Fair. Georgia, fair. Clemson, name only. Notre Dame, probably fair.
Clemson's also got coach.
Texas A&M, unranked at the end of last year, 6th this year. Like, at least earn your way into it.
They've been bringing some dudes in.
So they've been bringing in some dudes. So is UC.
Where's Miami, Florida on that list?
16.
I can't wait until Miami, Florida falls to some awful team that they shouldn't be losing to, because that's
USC unranked to 14.
There's another Pac-12 team for you.
Yeah. Pitt 17.
Just lost a quarterback, by the way.
Right. And he had tiny hands. Still does. I don't know. Obviously, like we've said, you can't look at this thing and like really get worked up over it or like have it affect you in any way.
You can. I literally had a whole show where I lost my mind about it.
We are where we are right now. Maybe there will be some respect when there's it says Big 12 next to our name instead of American Athletic. I just think it's ridiculous that of the teams that finished in the top 10 last year,
man,
UC is the only one that falls out of the top 15, and they fall to 23.
I'm so mad that I missed the joke that I've been planning all day long. 17 minutes ago, I was going to be like, and that's the show.
Oh. I don't know.
Way to go, Aaron.
It's just, and maybe these people, maybe these AP folks are smarter than we are, and that's where UC belongs at 23.
No, they're the same. Like, they're just writers. They're just writers.
I just want Aaron Smith to get a vote in the AP.
Saying, can you imagine?
Isn't he a published writer?
He is in Lindy's, right? Is that what it's called?
Lindy's.
Got it right here.
How do we? This is like the blue check mark. How do we get that in there for you?
Well, considering they don't even publish names for people who write the articles, here's my spread. 2 pages. Yay. 2 pages.
But we can.
And those are tiny words too, Aaron.
I wrote a lot.
Did you double space?
So
you get a little bit more room when your team was a college football playoff.
Oh, and then the other thing that I've been seeing a lot on Twitter is apparently like these Arkansas fans are like beside themselves that they have to play UC.
They scheduled the game.
Why are they so sad?
Like there was some guy that posted like, "Oh, UC thinks they're gonna come to Fayetteville and turn
it's
it
a tough
into,
venue."
I did see that.
Don't get it twisted. It's a tough venue.
Absolutely,
the whole Suey thing, like they're crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
I saw that. Chad responded, nobody said,
like,
nobody ever said that.
Nobody said that.
And I responded, but we could, right?
I mean, the thing is like, the showing that we had, obviously, like, I mean, we had quite a few people that went to Indiana, right? That's close. We had quite a few people that went to Notre Dame, and that was not only
took over the stadium.
That was not only outrageously impressive, but it's also a neat stadium to go to, like a neat, you know what I mean? Like nobody wants to go to Fayetteville. Get out of here.
I want to go to Fayetteville.
Hard.
Our dudes are going to go there and hopefully take care of business in a resounding way.
I really hope that we beat them, and I hope that it's
I hope it's not even close.
42-20.
Like they're like, oh, we're gonna run all. They do have a good running game from like what I looked at from like last year, whatever.
They have a good quarterback as well,
and they've got. I saw kind of a stat. They were making fun of our defensive linemen not being big. So
we should find for next week. We should see if we can find an Arkansas podcast to bring somebody in to our
to
show.
come on and talk to us.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm on it.
There you go, Ed.
Go find a good one, Ed. But
But-
find one that we're not gonna like have to like cut off at an hour or something.
Find one like us.
Yeah.
Just start listening to Arkansas podcasts and find one like us.
I bet one of them will come on and be like, "Welcome back, y'all."
Yeah. No, they hit us with the suey.
Hey, like a woo pig suey.
Woo pig suey. What a weird thing. What a weird
But
thing.
you know what? I can respect it.
Look, it's
Like
their thing.
You
It's
got
like
a thing.
it's like stealing Pump It Up. Why in God's name?
Michigan took it, and then
The Lions were playing it in the preseason game for the kickoffs. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Chad, where'd you come from?
Well, I just got done. I did
Got
a
his
30
fancy
minute-
shirt on.
I did a 30-minute spot. I had to get my daughter had her first volleyball game tonight, so I came home. I did a 30-minute spot with an Arkansas site talking about the game, and then I just did a nightcap with Justin Williams. So yeah.
Aaron's been replaced.
No, I just couldn't wait until I got to be up. Like, I got a long day tomorrow.
I understand.
So I
It's
had to
hard.
get the nightcap done. It's hard. It's hard.
You see how
The
many
shot's hard.
you see how many timestamps I got done today?
Why aren't you
I haven't-
timestamping this show?
I finished the BCJ pod. I got like a couple nightcaps from early in the month done. I got a couple interviews done. Man, I'm tired of your voice.
Me too, brother. Me too. Me too.
Do you cleanse that by watching the GIF of Chad dancing in front of the pool?
I just hit my head into a wall a couple times.
I don't. How is that not me? I'm so confused.
Like,
I have a
it's-
question though. I
it's-
shared that with you like a year ago, and nobody ever made a big deal out of this. All of a sudden, somebody else does, and
And the hat is just
butthurt.
blurry enough that it could be a
It
UC
looks like
hat.
the BCJ hat.
It does. It looks like a
it's got-
BCJ
It
hat.
looks like the BCJ hat. I've never worn a banana hammock, so I know that that's not me.
After watching that video, I simply don't believe you.
Yeah.
I
mean,
also
I'm
threw up in
telling
my
you.
mouth a little bit.
I think
I'm
Chad went
telling
on
you,
a
I-
bender,
Look, that-
forgot about it,
that-
and now there's a GIF of him out there
That's-
dancing.
That's actually what happens when you go on the road on these AAU tournaments.
that's what happens
The
in Lubbock.
only undergarments I own are boxer briefs.
He threw them
So-
away in the trash after that video.
Like, unless that is a picture of like some boxer briefs that are
Sometimes they do
know.
bunch up. Yeah.
bunched up, it's not. I don't believe it to be me. That Keith Williams, former Cincinnati basketball player, Keith
laughed
Williams,
so hard when I saw that.
was like, I'm like, look, man, I don't think it's me, but I can't be sure because more than anything, the facial mannerisms
Yeah.
were identical.
Yeah.
It was frightening. Like those are my facial mannerisms.
It's just blurry and like it is just blurry enough.
That you're like, that might be Chad.
I'm not even certain he's not wearing a UC hat at the very least.
That's
You
what
have
Right.
Jesus
Said.
sandals like that?
Well, no,
Okay.
no. But
Still don't
I'm
think
not certain that I can't say with 100% accuracy that that's not me because it might be.
Look, what happened when you went on that West Coast trip to Cali? Maybe things got weird, especially in
Yeah.
Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We get it.
Until
We
it gets
get
put in a GIF.
There's a lot of stuff legal out there that's not legal here.
The internet
So-
lives on forever.
Undefeated, that
Never
internet.
The old interwebs. Chad, is there anybody that is? I just asked Aaron. Is there anybody that you've seen at the Camp Higher Ground there that maybe isn't a household name quite yet that has the potential to become that you're
Aaron,
going to put on people's radars?
Aaron, did you give your obvious answer?
I gave like 7 answers.
Yeah,
So-
but your number one was JQ, right?
I mean, of course, I
was.
mentioned JQ, but I don't know that I Quincy Burrows,
I
I think,
still
is
feel
going
like
to be a household name.
Yeah, but
But I-
Quincy Burrows is probably a year away from
I feel like JQ though
So that
is a
too.
name that's on the radar of a lot of UC people. Like, was there somebody that's maybe not on the radar that has been
Noah
like
Potter?
Okay, I'll give you the name of the I'll give you the biggest splash performer of the past like 4 or 5 days.
I know who this is. Biggest is probably the best way to describe
Dante
him.
Corleone, the Godfather.
Cole Rain.
So it was believed that Dominique Perry, who was a redshirt junior, I believe, the COVID thing messes me up so bad.
Yeah.
That he was going to be the backup to Jawan Briggs at nose tackle. He had a really, really good spring, and he's had a very good summer and camp. But redshirt freshman Dante Corleone has been unmovable over the past like 5 days. And like I'm talking to all these guys that are on the interior of the offensive line.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't do anything with him. We can't physically get him off of his spot no matter what we try. The biggest thing that Lucas talked about is they believe Jawan Briggs is an NFL nose tackle.
He's certainly the size of one.
But if you ask him to play 70, 80% of the snaps, he's not going to be as effective. You have to find a guy or two behind him that can take 35, 40% of those snaps to keep Briggs fresh. I think we're now at a point that we're finding that Corleone has been
maybe the guy.
Crazy impressive. I think they're both going to be the guy, but I think Corleone has moved a nudge ahead of Perry at this point. What are you guys chuckling at? What have I missed? You guys are chuckling about something.
Hi, Kathy.
Oh, did I miss it?
You said Aaron's
Aaron's
Aaron's been in the
mood.
mood all week.
Well,
I told you, there have been people in my DMs like, is Aaron okay?
She's 1 month old today. She shit on me last night, and
She did. She shit all over you last night. And not like
not in a fun way.
No. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on something.
Ooh, yeah, I'm good at this.
So I'm looking for something to put right here.
Fire.
Right here.
It's so good.
So this week I started reaching out for I wanted a neon design, like a neon sign. Here we go.
Ed, you'll have to share it. I don't know if you can share it without your approval.
Ed
Oh.
has to-
I was just say
You have to approve his share. There you go.
Ooh.
Doesn't that look fire?
So
Kinda
good.
cool, actually, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm so excited about this thing. I've been showing it to everybody today. That's all neon. Like that's
I
all
wish
neon
that
lights
middle. I
would
wish
go
that middle claw was completed and not like
Not the B.
behind the
Yeah.
the thing. I don't mind it. Like I don't. It's not something
That might-
I'm gonna
that might
get,
be
like,
some-
OCD about.
They can
That might
click on
be
that
something
and
that-
right click and do bring to the front.
no, but that's probably they probably have to run the
Yeah.
like the way that the neon
Yeah.
Yeah,
tubing runs.
I'm not going to lose my mind about that because that in itself, I think, is outstanding.
I made this.
Good for you, Ed.
N-
Do you
that's
think it
not
looks
a
better than that neon BCJ logo?
No.
That's gas. I was really. I sent out a couple bids this weekend. Like, I want this. Let's see who can, send me back the most fire thing. That's the first one.
I think I know a guy with a what do they call those? Jeff, help me out here. Is it a CNC machine or a
CNC.
Yeah, that cuts metal, like laser cuts metal. I think I know a guy who has one.
You think
What's
you
that?
know a guy?
Well, he used to. So he has a metal shop out here. He builds hot rods and stuff, and I know he had one, but I don't know if he still has it. Like I don't know if he sold it.
You want Chad to have a BCJ hot rod?
No, but it'd be cool, like a big metal one. If the awesome,
Also way heavier.
gas looking. I mean, I have. All right, whatever.
You have those Bengals
I mean,
ones.
if the
I think I almost cut my hand when
if the
those were on
metal-
your couch. By the way,
if the metal was behind the neon so that it like diffused it or in front
Hi,
of it,
Kathy. Love you.
that would be cool.
Kathy and I are tight. What's up, Kathy?
Plasma cutting machine.
Much love.
Interesting.
I think the neon would like. We're in a rental. I'm not supposed to be putting anything on the walls, which is why I
That's
don't
fair.
currently have
at all.
He was weird about it. He was like, you can do like the small nails, but you can't do like screws and like wall mounts. I think I'm at a point that I'm just like, we're gonna stay another year, and if we're gonna stay another year, I have to make this a studio.
Yep.
I mean, you can put wall anchors in the wall. Like as long as you're patching, who cares?
Putty. Aaron is all about patching.
Little putty and some
Yeah.
paint match, and you're
And
good to go.
everyone who went to college knows some things about patching.
Yeah.
Like something like that'd be kind of cool, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I think the
I think the
Mad Tree one right there, or whatever. It's not Mad Tree, but it's close enough. That would be more.
The tree of
no
life.
the neon is gas. I'll go that first, but if for some reason that falls through,
Yeah.
Anyway,
We might have something new in the works. Me and Aaron, like a new employee that people have been asking for. Some new content avenues that I think are pretty exciting.
I watched the clips today. They were good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think we might be onto something.
what are we talking about here?
TBD.
TBD.
The basketball.
Well, I'll
tournament?
have more answers here in the next couple days, but I think we might be onto something. Jeff might be getting more involved in the BCJ world. I'm excited about that.
He's got a podcast he's doing on.
Yeah, he's
Sunday
going on a
night.
podcast.
Oh yeah.
What are you going on with?
I'll shout them out. They're a podcast about the size of ours. It's called One Time for the Fan. They're a Falcons podcast.
Nice.
They reached out, wanted a little bit of insight on what they can expect, what they're getting with Desmond Ritter. So that'll be Sunday at I think they said 8:15 is when they're going to bring me in. They start at 8. They do like 2 podcasts a week.
They go live, or is it going to be?
They go live on
Nice.
YouTube.
I just started following them on our page.
Like
I think we can comfortably drop it here for the PTP crowd tonight, and Dave and I will talk about it tomorrow.
sure thing.
Jeff Howell is going to be the primary co-host on the Dave Simone, soon to be named Sunday morning podcast. I got to ask though, Jeff, like, what is your, like, Dave is a diehard college football junkie. So when Dave goes diehard college football junkie, are you going to be able to keep up?
See, my thing is, I am, and I think I've brought it to this show, the more of like, I bring like the fan aspect of things with a little bit of
Well,
Little
Dave
bit
is
of
also a diehard fan.
right, and he's probably more diehard into the like statistical
college side,
analytic like things, whereas I like to bring a little bit of the counterpoint.
Like watch the games and
I like to bring a little bit of the counterpoint as a fan.
You were the first person you were the second person I thought of.
Only because his dad.
His dad.
I wanted Dave's dad to really do that show, and Dave was like, "Oh no, that would mess up everything that we do because my dad is like a loose cannon, and that would not be good for us."
I'm so happy that I came up with changing the last name to Simon.
Yeah,
for
Dan
his-
Simon,
for his
realignment
alter
expert
ego.
Dan Simon. I don't like.
and Simon.
Yeah, realignment expert Dan Simon. We're gonna get him a wig. We're gonna get him a complete alter ego,
Some glasses.
so that when he comes on, like he's gonna be like over the top.
I think he should just grow out the Paul Feinbaum.
Is this the dropping podcast suggestion portion of the episode? Because if it is, I think it's also safe to say on this podcast, the new Mo Egger podcast is a good listen.
It's fantastic. I
enjoyed it.
I listened to a little bit of Doc, just in and out of the car. I listened to all of Angela Levy.
That was a great one.
Outstanding. That was
great.
Really good. I'm planning on tomorrow on my way to and from Higher Ground to listen to episode 3.
Who's his guest on episode 3?
The guy that did the Reds
Cam?
documentary.
The filmmaker guy.
The Riverfront. Yeah, the filmmaker guy that did the Riverfront thing.
That's an interesting one.
Because I'm not a Doc fan, so I was all the way out.
So I don't think after listening to Mo's podcast,
I'm not a Doc fan, but it was a good podcast.
Doc doesn't care if you're a Doc fan,
right?
Good.
I
don't care that he's not a writer anymore.
I think that's an awesome format for Mo.
I think so.
Mo's a really interesting dude. Like I've gotten to know Mo extremely well over the years. That's a guy that has trusted me with his show.
He knows me every time we see each other now. That's fun.
When I'm not gonna
You're not gonna cheer for him if he's walking by.
I'm not gonna spoil it. Yeah, Dan, I will. I'm not gonna spoil it, but Chad, when he told the story about his grandma,
yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was outstanding with Anjanette. It was great. That to me is special in terms of like who you have fill in for you is important because they can mess up. Like if you he took a bunch of days off in June. Like if you have somebody that fills in for you like 6, 7, 8 days in a month, and that person doesn't like carry the torch.
Oh, there's plenty of people who hate you.
There's also
I'm just saying,
there is, but they don't hate. No matter what they say,
they still listen.
Right? Like what Mo has told me, which is maybe the biggest compliment, is that he no longer, when he takes a day off, he gets to take a day off. He doesn't have to listen to people calling him like, what is wrong with your show? And I take that as a huge, that's a huge source of what we're doing is good. It's funny. It's entertaining. Quite a bit different, but we have fun with it.
Gives a lot of exposure to Taryn.
I love Taryn's, Taryn and I musically are
friend of the show, Taryn.
Yeah, I know
Taryn
there's
Blaine.
A lot of people that don't love where Taryn and I go musically, but the people that are into that late 90s, early 2000s hip hop scene,
all of us
listen to that show and they're like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that song. That shit was fire."
You guys played Ghetto Gospel, I think, earlier this year, and I was like, "Oh!" I listened to it 2 days straight.
So I did want to bring up, because it became a topic of conversation for entirely too long on the BCJ pod, the Field of Dreams game. Somehow the BCJ pod became a baseball pod for a guy who hates baseball.
People were big mad.
I did not mean to create. You left me on an island that I was not expecting.
I didn't see it. 2, or hear it, but I know what your stance is, Aaron, and you relish in the fact of being the villain
on the Field of Dreams game. Absolutely.
Jeff, this week I've had people in my DMs like, "Is Aaron okay?"
Oh, if Aaron can set the world on fire, he will.
Is Aaron okay?
With his hot takes.
Is he all right?
His hot takes are lava hot.
But here's the thing, Jeff. Was it that hot a take, considering it got 50% of the viewership as a game than it did last
But that's
week?
Aaron. It's the #1 viewed baseball game of the season.
put a better product out.
I don't think there's any other game on, is there?
There's ways to there's
no other game on that night, is there?
No, there was other games on that night.
Okay.
Right?
There's ways to have that game not suck.
Well,
This
Aaron and
season-
I are in this. Okay, go ahead.
This season it would be not including the Reds and the Cubs. You can play with the schedule. I know, Chad, you brought up that you can't play with the schedule, but you have double headers on Sundays that you can mess around with. You can move some things around, and we all know, again, logistically, you can plan something in a week. You saw BYU,
Aaron,
and whoever they played.
It is a baseball problem.
Okay, I got the
Because
solution.
12 months ago, Chicago and Cincinnati was a pretty interesting thing.
Until Chicago traded everybody away. But
And then the Reds traded everybody
Cincinnati.
away. That happened in 12 months.
Why do you have to announce it 12 months in advance?
Baby's asleep.
It doesn't matter.
He's whisper yelling.
It doesn't
Well,
matter.
because there's a kid sleeping right here.
There's a kid.
Oh,
Thank God
They're
for
in school tomorrow.
melatonin.
I'm so mad.
no, I have a solution.
So mad.
I have a solution.
Try and be quiet.
Nobody watches the All-Star game anymore, right?
It's hard.
The All-Star game is horrible. Replace the All-Star game with the Field of Dreams game.
No.
No one wants to go to Iowa during their break. You would have people bowing out of the All-Star game.
The All-Star game is too important for like the market that gets the All-Star game.
Doesn't need to go to
That's
Iowa.
fair. Yeah, that's fair too. I thought Emily Witt.
Touche Daniel Paulson. That is on the bottom of the list of baseball's problems.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's at the top of my list of things to shit on right now.
I thought Emily
You're
Witt.
just
like
so
it. I
mad,
enjoy
Aaron.
it.
You're
It's
so
a neat-
mad.
It's a neat spectacle. I also love the fact that they're going to turn it into a little league complex.
Nope.
I love that.
Poking the bear.
Now you're being dumb. No, I thought Emily Witt
No, Ed,
summarized that game perfectly on Twitter. She said 7:15. I'm emotional. This is so cool. Man, I love the Reds and baseball. 7:30. What the heck, Reds?
You know, Emily Witt
That's
works for?
Bearcat Journal.
You right. You right.
I do that.
I love them. She's outstanding. Her
She takes
baseball
great
thoughts
photos.
are on point, and she's a phenomenal photographer. I love Emily.
But Jeff, why take this field in the middle, like the aura of like the
So,
vibe, right, of this field is
Is
like,
what?
that it's in the middle of a cornfield, right? There's two fields out there, the
All
original
the
and this new one.
fields, all the fields that they're putting out there are going to be in the middle of cornfield too, Ed.
But
Next.
now it's now there's not going to be as many cornfields around
Why
it.
is
Like
it?
you're making it.
Why is there an aura there, Ed?
Okay,
why is
so
there an
you're
aura
going to
there,
put in
Ed?
these. Okay, hold on. This is just like this is a gateway
Because
drug.
James
This-
Earl
Gateway
Jones.
drug.
Ed,
No.
Ed, remember, like, let's think if your son was like 12 and played on a team.
Oh,
that
Chad,
was good enough
you've missed so many good conversations about Ed and his son. He's
to
going
get
to
invited to the Field of Dreams.
they'd have to
play
go
a
halfsies.
tournament.
He'd have to ask for the money for Christmas.
Ed would tell him
his
to
son.
ask him to give him money for Christmas to go halvesies on the trip.
So I don't know if I've told this here. One of the big AAU locations is Lake Point, or I think it's called Lake Point. It's in Cartersville, Georgia, and it's this giant facility. There's 12 courts, like Under Armour, Nike, Adidas. Everybody does events there, and it's
Lake Point
also
Station.
Yeah, it's also a baseball facility, a softball facility, and a soccer facility that is like 100 acres.
It is rather large.
And so we're there, and I'm like walking the facility to get into, and there's this RV park, and I'm like, look, man, I've been covering AAU basketball for a long time. This is not how AAU basketball rolls. And the entire RV park was baseball families that take, like, I don't know if they buy them or they rent them or whatever the case may be, but there were 50 RVs in this RV park that were there for this baseball tournament that was going on at the same time as one of the basketball tournaments.
Look, as much as travel baseball, I feel, has ruined Little League baseball, it is a very lucrative thing,
Yeah.
and it's like on a very small scale.
Is that Lake Point?
Lake Point Sports Campus in Carterville, Georgia.
So the building in the background is the like where the basketball stuff happens, like back here. We usually park in this parking lot right here to go to the facility, but there's also in the back, as you can see here, this RV lot where all the baseball families stay to play games at these, 12 baseball fields. And there's the soccer fields over there to the left. They've got sand volleyball. They've actually got that water there is like a water skiing park where they have where they have water skiing competitions. Like it's a wild deal at this place.
But to Chad's point, if you're gonna put the little league facilities there, you're gonna have all these. Your team gets a chance to go play at the Field of Dreams. It's a city that the money would help.
Okay, Jeff. Let me ask you a question.
Town. Hold on, Ed. I'm not done.
Why do you get to finish my gateway drug statement?
Here in Cincinnati alone, there's a little Crosley. There's a replica of Fenway Park.
Okay, this is what I wanted to ask you.
And when my kids get to play their little league games on those fields, it's one of the coolest experiences that they have during the season, as far as where they get to play, because they're not playing on a field that butts up to another field, and there's a soccer field that runs in the middle of it, and you got outfielders running in, backed up to each other on each field, because they get to play on the big boy fields.
Those fields are immaculate. Wouldn't you want a chance to play on one of those fields?
It's good for baseball to help grow baseball.
Okay, so build fields somewhere. But when you put this stuff out there, it's a gateway drug. Okay, when FC Cincinnati put their soccer complex, their training complex out here, guess how many hotels have popped up around here now? We got two now. We have two.
Good for the economy, jobs.
But then you're taking away the cornfields. Now you're tearing down another cornfield to put a hot dog stand, a hotel. You're gonna go take another way. So now you're just gonna show up at just a regular stadium. Now you're just going to show up at
the stadiums that
too much cornstarch anyway.
The stadiums, all the stadiums that they've got built out there are in the cornfields. That's part of the shtick.
But what I'm saying is, if you add this place, then you're going to start adding a Walmart.
The Field of Dreams didn't really happen, right?
There'll be a freaking Chick-fil-A out there in no time. No time there'll be a Chick-fil-A.
Ed, you know that the Field of Dreams was a movie. It wasn't like something that really happened. Right.
I understand that, but it's still the allure of it. I still haven't actually have not seen the movie.
Oh my God.
Wow.
What? Your entire opinion on this is void.
No, it's not. Because my wife has seen the movie and she told me about it.
Oh God. Jesus Christ.
Ed, have you looked up the Alamo yet?
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Isn't it?
That's not fair.
Thought it was.
Who knew the Alamo was in the middle of downtown San Antonio?
Everybody.
Not me.
Chad, ask Ed what he prepared to go to the Alamo.
Ed thought he was going to be like on a 10-day hike out into the desert.
I thought this was going to be a few-hour drive into a desert somewhere. I packed some sandwiches and some drinks, and I put it into the GPS, and the GPS basically said, turn around. There was the Alamo, downtown San Antonio, near the Riverwalk. But anyways, thank you. I am, thank you. But anyways, I guarantee you, they put those complexes back there, and there'll be a hotel, there'll be a Walmart, they'll pop up, and it just will be a field now. It won't be in the middle of a cornfield anymore.
I think you're wrong.
Okay. Time mark this. Date stamp this 11:09 p.m. on August 16th, 2022.
Ed was wrong.
Jeff will come back and say, Ed, you were correct.
That will never happen.
I feel like it will.
All right. So the only other Reds news I want to talk about, because
I've got some Red stuff. Well, / baseball related.
Well, I was going to say all the guys that the Reds have traded for seem to be excelling.
Oh,
everywhere.
The all over the place.
Everywhere.
I can't scroll past.
I'm retweeting everything.
I can't scroll past a Bryce Spalding tweet without him talking about some awesome minor league thing that happened.
There are lots of things happening.
I've got a legit question. More social media interaction or activity, Reds minor league trade additions, or Cincinnati Bearcat first or 2022 NFL draft picks?
I'm retweeting all of it. So
Everything.
all of it.
Yeah, I'm here for all of it because I'm excited about it. Here, Chad might have a good answer to this too, and this is just a statement I'm going to throw out, and then I want to hear what your thoughts are. Standing ovations for returning fan favorites.
This is what I wanted to talk about. Good. I'm so glad you went here.
What are your thoughts on it, Ed? It came up because Castellanos obviously is back in town with the Phillies, and he received a standing ovation whenever he got there. I think they played like his walk-up music.
Good for him.
Did we just go through this with
he was also down on the field. He was down on the field with the with like the Dragonfly Cincy, the organization that he helps out, or was the benefactor of Liam's.
His
like
son, Liam's t-shirts.
So it has been. There was somebody on Twitter, and I don't even remember his name now, but apparently he was not happy with the fact that Reds fans were celebrating Castellanos being back, and then was also upset because Madison Bumgarner got an ovation out in San Francisco. Like, stop applauding returning players.
Look, if they gave everything they had to the organization and they were moved on for circumstances beyond their control, why do you care if fans want to clap for them?
Well, let's also remember what Nick Castellanos said earlier when he got when he signed with the Phillies. He was waiting for the Reds to even make an offer. They didn't even make an offer. They didn't even try to retain him. So it's not like he left like maliciously.
Right.
And
he wanted them.
He's never said anything bad about the fans. As a matter of fact, he still said glowing things to say about the fans in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Right.
When he's sitting there in a Phillies uniform. I'm all for it.
I'm here for it too.
That was my whole thought process, was what Chad just put into words, that if you've got a player that was here, and I don't care if they were here for 6 months, a la the Yasiel Puig thing, like that guy, if he comes back, he's getting a standing ovation, right? Yeah. If that were to ever happen, I doubt at this point that it does, but like he would. If you
I think
come
his brother
here,
went on some questionable podcasts, but like
there.
like if you are somebody that plays, and I don't care what team it is, if it's Reds or if it's your hometown team, wherever you find yourself,
right?
If you've got a guy that comes in there, does what he's supposed to do, it becomes a fan favorite for whatever reason, whether it's
blue collar all the way, like he was the city, like
whether it's personality or the way you carry yourself on the field and the effort you give, or maybe it's just because you absolutely ball out and then you are moved on and it's not necessarily your decision to move on in the way that it happens. I'm all about it. Cheer for those guys. Like Matt Kemp is not going to get a standing ovation if he ever came back to Cincinnati, right? Like that's not going to happen.
This wasn't a. I mean, I know this.
Tommy Pham will.
Tommy Pham absolutely will.
This wasn't a Brian Kelly situation, right? This was a guy who, I mean, he wanted to be here.
Good point.
He was a fan favorite.
Homer Bailey would not get a standing ovation.
Piss
here.
on that guy.
I don't think.
Probably not.
Johnny
Cueto,
would.
he would.
Johnny Cueto, the roof would blow off the place for Johnny Cueto.
I mean,
look what happened with Billy
Luis
Hamilton.
Castillo.
Look what happened with Billy Hamilton.
With Billy Hamilton.
They cheered for him so much that he got in the game. Like the manager just sitting in.
Yeah. And tying on to that one, did you see the fan yelling at Tony La Russa to put in, I don't know, some guy to pinch
Angels?
run like in the, I don't know who he is, but there's like a fan sitting like in like the third row. I guess it would be like our diamond seats, and he's like yelling at Tony to put this guy in to pinch run. And somebody was like, you know, Tony had fallen asleep over there, and
I was gonna say, was he actually awake in that game?
He just heard the name getting yelled out, so he like gets up and he's like, "Time," and sends him out. And he's like, "I don't know why I did that, but
I have to find that video.
I think it's I don't know. Like you're a miserable. You probably lead a miserable existence if you can't.
Stop trying to tell people what to enjoy.
Right.
Stop trying to tell people like what they should and should not appreciate.
Don't be the arbiter of fandom.
Unless it's you know, unless you're the fan of a team that ties all the time.
Mid.
Nothing from Ed.
I found it. I found the video.
If you play it, we're probably going to get another copyright strike, or copyright thing that we got the last time. But no, I just thought I mean, it was a little okay.
We're gonna do it.
Hey Tony, run angle. Get angle in there. Get angle.
Oh wow, he actually did it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Oh, he's gonna pinch run. He's getting into the pitch. And he called it. And he's doing it. He's doing it.
Let's go. There needs to be more of that in sports.
There's fan controlled football.
Yeah, there is.
I hope that was his uncle or something.
Whoever the person was that tweeted out was like, my dad, you know, got Tony La Russa to put this angle guy in.
Unreal.
I don't know, but
That's awesome.
yes, don't be the arbiter of fandom. Don't like if people want to enjoy it. Look, there's like been very little to enjoy about this Red season. And,
Tonk.
And if
Tonk.
Castellanos coming back and selling out the right field seats and everybody yelling, you know, and being excited about it, like I'm here for it.
Just I don't know, like
Tonk,
enjoy
actually
what
just
you enjoy. Enjoy what you enjoy.
Tonk actually just ordered a second one of these in black so that I can make the UC one.
you're gonna make it.
Oh,
at
it's
home?
cricket.
Did you get the Bearcat Journal? Iron sharpens iron.
No, he's making his own one at home. He's
Ed.
Yeah.
He couldn't ask his son to ask for money
From 513 shirts yet?
for
I'll
Christmas.
ask Parker if he'll go halfies on it for me.
Halfies.
I'm delivering a Iron Sharpens Iron hoodie and T-shirt to Luke Fickle tomorrow. The Bearcat Journal version.
There you go.
I got him in the other room. You want me to bring him in and show you guys, or
Yeah, go get them.
Shameless.
Okay.
Just go ahead.
I'll be back.
So those are my thoughts on that whole thing.
I'm glad you went there because I wanted to go there as well. So
It was just irritating. Like I saw it
Same.
and like
Yeah.
it was like I had football practice that I was with my son, and I knew Castellanos was coming back. So while I was sitting there at football, I was scrolling Twitter looking for like what was the reaction, like what, you know, how did fans treat him when he, you know, got up to bat. And then I saw that like the Reds played his walk-up music, and I don't think they play walk-up music for opposing teams.
They do.
But I guess they played his walk-up music, and then bam. Yeah, Tonk, we need we gotta get monetized.
We've only got like 110 followers on the YouTube, Tonk. So
No, we're at 205.
are we? So if you want to go ahead and get our link out there, that'd be good. Otherwise, if you want to donate, Ed-Mayhall on Venmo. Just joking. Don't do that, please.
What size does Luke wear? A large?
2X.
2X.
2X. Luke, really?
He told me to get him a 2X. He wears it over like 2 other things.
Okay, that's fair.
Are you gonna pre-cut the sleeves for him?
No, that's on him. I don't know where he likes them cut. Like
Amy does that for him, right?
Yeah, Amy does that for him.
Amy does that.
But this will be delivered to Luke tomorrow, and if he wears it, the people at UC are their heads are gonna like
Explode.
chop off.
Zach Stipe will murder you.
I think at this point Luke can do whatever he wants.
At some point in time between now and the start of the season, I need Luke in one of these.
Like a interview with
And I don't know.
or something.
Maybe our views on Castellanos are a little different because Ryan, former,
But no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not just him. It's everybody.
Right. No, I agree. Like when Luis Castillo comes back here,
The whole Seattle team, for that matter.
Well,
Jesus.
yeah. For that, I guess I kind of forget about that, but you know what I mean. And I was going with the T-shirt thing because Ryan did let us know that he's still rocking our PTP shirt
at the gym.
That's always good.
Yep, he sent us a picture this week saying that he's still rocking PTP.
Amy seems smart. I think she would just get Uncrustables.
Uncrustables are really good.
They're delicious.
Strawberry over grape, right?
Oh,
I have
100%.
deep freeze right now. Yeah,
100%.
I think
If you're putting grape jelly on anything over strawberry jelly,
so
I've got questions.
I think the entire last 20 minutes of conversation about the Nick Castellanos arbiter of fandom, that is our bum of the week. I don't think that you top that. I think that is the bum of the week. Like, don't tell people how to fan. Outside of that,
Ed, do you have 60 seconds of wrestling? I'll take the silence as a no.
But we can't end the podcast if Ed is not here.
It's true.
So
what happened to Ed? Where did Big Ed go? Hey,
the apple juice and the blue slushy beer got him.
He probably went to get an Uncrustable. What are your thoughts? What are your
Here's my
thoughts
thing
on
on Uncrustables. Can't you just make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah, but it's so nice to be able to just grab it out of the freezer.
You can. I mean, you can.
You don't have to. Yeah, but you gotta get the.
I've heard that they're like next level if you put them in an air fryer. I don't have an air fryer to try that, but
I just if I want a PBJ, I make a PBJ.
I don't think I want hot jelly.
I heat them up. I'll throw them in the microwave, but without turning it on. And there's still a little bit of heat in there. You throw it in there for like 10 minutes. Get yourself a nice little.
If I use our panini maker, I don't put any of my condiments on the sandwich until it's already been warmed.
You turn the microwave on, but don't turn the heat on.
No, I don't turn it. Like I don't turn on the microwave.
Power to zero.
I just throw it in the microwave.
I like to watch my food spin.
Don't press any buttons.
Without pressing any buttons, you just sit it in the microwave.
Yeah, you just put it on the counter. You run the microwave and then put it in the microwave.
I did like a test, and it seems like it thaws quicker when it's in the microwave, because I think there's still like microwaves coming through. So who knows?
This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I don't know.
But it's not the dumbest shit. It is the dumbest shit you've ever heard, but it'll probably be.
My brother in Christ, Ed, what are you doing?
But you'll try it. You'll try it, and it'll work. And you'll be like, okay, Ed was right.
I get home and I get that frozen pizza out of the freezer and I just throw it in the oven for a little bit.
But I'm supposed to be asleep in a half hour, like 20 minutes.
Listen.
I'm not going to be able to sleep because I'm going to be thinking like,
right. That's what I'm saying. That's my problem.
Where did you even come up with this idea?
Hang on. I need to interject here with some thoughts. First off, Daniel Paulson, you saved the show tonight with your one-liners. Fantastic. Second, do we need to put out an APB for Geoff? Because where the hell
is where Geoff was too?
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't ever miss a show.
Although you know what, sometimes he works early and he said that he listens to the show on the way into work.
Yeah,
right.
he did say that.
Well,
and he lets me know when the show's not uploaded in the morning.
I'm sorry to derail
and
things.
Tonk is here. He wasn't here Monday for the BBP. We were worried about him.
Ed is a certified psychopath. I'm still so confused.
No, listen, okay, so
like,
listen. Listen, this is how it started. All right.
We're listening, Ed. We're listening.
All right. So the son wanted a pizza, one of those microwave pizzas for lunch. I heat up his microwave pizza, and I wanted an Uncrustable, but it was frozen. So after his pizza was done cooking, I threw it in the microwave without turning it on because there was still residual heat in there. Went and did a load of laundry real quick. Came back maybe 10 minutes later. And it was the perfect defrost.
Ed, you realize like you can just turn the microwave on for a shorter period of time.
No, because it still heats up the jelly.
same-
It still heats up the jelly,
All right.
and that's weird.
For those of you who are still here, we thank you for joining us for another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. Ed, do you have a wrestling minute?
It's my own action figure.
That's
No, he's just got his own action figure.
That's
All
the
right.
wrestling minute.
Wrap this thing up, Aaron.
I will have a wrestling minute next week. I'm actually
don't
watching the
believe you.
DX documentary right now, and I haven't finished it yet.
It's not even AEW.
It's
Before we wrap this
We're
up,
talking
I
wrestling.
do want to say I will be on that One Time for the Fan podcast on Sunday at 8:15 p.m. It'll be live on their YouTube channel. Their Twitter, I will retweet it out from PTP, so folks can go.
You
follow it
guys,
and see it.
are all invited. Jeff and Ed, Aaron. I don't think Aaron is going to be able to make it, but next Friday we're having a BCJ happy hour at the Grail. I'll be there about 6:30. I know a couple people that are going to be there that fans are going to want to mingle with.
When you say next Friday, do you mean the 19th or the 26th?
The 26th. This Friday is the 19th. Next Friday is the 26th.
I would love to make it to that, but we have a soccer tournament.
Zach Tobler's going to be there.
Ooh, Tobler time.
So you could talk to Zach Tobler about the locker room renovation. You can talk to Zach Tobler. I'm told he played pickup basketball with the coaching staff this week. Like there's a lot you can talk about with Zach Tobler.
Was he
I'm
golfing with him
told-
today?
Potentially, I don't know.
Looked like it.
Yeah. Potentially, I'm told Ryan Royer, who is Mr. Bearcat himself, who is going to be an analyst for the BBP every Monday at 8:00. You want a football breakdown on what happened with the Bearcats on that Saturday? You're going to get it from Ryan fucking Royer on the BBP every Monday night. Ryan Royer is going to be there. Michael Kope-Gorodsky is going to be there, who now works in the recruiting department. We're working on potentially DeMar Johnson stopping by that Friday night at the Holy Grail. So Friday the 26th, I've got radio. I'm in for Mo. I will be there around 6:30. Ed and Jeff, you are officially invited to come down and be part of the festivities. It's going to be a hell of a time. Aaron's invited. I just don't think he's gonna be able to make it.
God forbid Aaron drives a little bit to get to it.
I'm sorry, I had a baby. But again, that was another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. We will see you next Tuesday, 9:15-ish, the same as always. But for my hosts, co-hosts, producer, self-proclaimed best producer in the city, God almighty.
Aaron's kicking your ass, Ed.
He's not.
For
Just 'cause
Jeff
you got
Howell,
timestamps in?
for Ed Mayhall, and for my boss, Chad Brendel, this has been another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. See ya!